When most people hear the term biker gang, they imagine noisy motorcycles, leather vests, and perhaps a distant memory from a Hollywood film. But outlaw biker gangs, sometimes called outlaw motorcycle clubs or one-percenters, are not relics of the past. In 2026, these organizations still exist, with chapters in dozens of countries and ongoing involvement in criminal enterprises. Today, we're going to explore who these biker gangs are, what they do, why they continue to survive under intense law enforcement pressure, and real documented evidence of their activities in recent years. What is an outlaw biker gang? An outlaw biker gang is typically a motorcycle club that operates outside the laws and norms of society, often engaging in organized crime, violence, and territorial behavior. Law enforcement designates these groups as outlaw motorcycle gangs, or OMGs, and many are targeted under federal racketeering laws. These clubs are sometimes called one-percenters, a name that came from a motorcycle association remark that 99% of bikers are law-abiding citizens, implying the remaining 1% were outlaws. However romanticized by the media, many of these groups today have documented criminal histories. The Big Four. While dozens of clubs exist, 4 have become infamous and are often referred to as the Big Four outlaw motorcycle clubs in the United States and beyond. 1. Hells Angels Motorcycle Club. One of the most well-known clubs in the world, the Hells Angels have chapters across Europe, Asia, and North America. Though members often claim they are simply motorcycle enthusiasts, law enforcement agencies have repeatedly linked them to drug trafficking, weapons offenses, and violent crime. For example, in November 2024, a Hells Angels member in Alberta, Canada was arrested with a handgun while allegedly committing an assault, even though he was prohibited from having firearms. Bandidos Motorcycle Club. Founded in Texas, the Bandidos are also a major international club. They're known for their rebellious motto and significant membership. Their association with violent crime continues into recent years. In late 2024, 2 suspected Bandidos members were charged with attempted murder and firearms offenses connected to an alleged plot within the club. Pagans Motorcycle Club. Originally from the East Coast, the Pagans remain active with chapters in multiple states. Their rivalry with the Hells Angels and others has led to federal indictments and violent confrontations. In 2024, 18 Pagans members and associates were indicted for armed assaults and racketeering after a large law enforcement operation in Missouri. In May 2025, 3 Pagans bikers pleaded guilty to armed assaults against rival gang members, including using axes and firearms as part of violent altercations. 4. Outlaws Motorcycle Club. The Outlaws predate many of the others and have a strong presence in the Midwest and beyond. They frequently show up in reports of violent disputes with other clubs. While up-to-date federal cases are less publicized than with other gangs, they remain classified as an OMG by law enforcement. These 4 clubs are among the most frequently mentioned in law enforcement investigations and criminal indictments related to organized crime activity. What crime looks like in 2026. Outlaw biker gangs don't just ride motorcycles, they often behave like organized crime syndicates. Recent public records and indictments show murder and racketeering cases. In late 2024, federal prosecutors unsealed an indictment in North Carolina charging 16 members of the Hells Angels and their support club, the Red Devils, who operate as the Hells Angels affiliate, with murder and attempted murder in aid of racketeering. The violence included the killing of a rival biker in a separate assault outside a Dairy Queen restaurant, both carried out as part of gang conflict. These murders weren't isolated skirmishes, they were prosecuted under federal racketeering laws, the same statutes used for mafia cases. Firearms and assaults. As far back as late 2024, police in Alberta, Canada, intercepted a Hells Angels member with a handgun during a violent incident, highlighting the ongoing danger posed by even individual members. biker gang warfare. The Pagans' 2024 indictments illustrate how territorial these gangs can be. Prosecutors alleged Pagans members assaulted rival clubs to protect territory, engaging in robberies, intimidation, and illegal drug operations. And in May 2025, 3 members of the Pagans Motorcycle Club pleaded guilty to assaults with dangerous weapons, including axes, while attacking rival club members. International presence. Outlaw biker gangs aren't just an American issue, they're global. Australia and Oceania. In Australia, biker gangs have long been a focus of massive law enforcement operations. In 2023, police in Queensland charged 68 people with a series of drug and firearms offenses tied to outlaw motorcycle gang activity, including Hells Angels connections, part of a broader crackdown on organized crime. Canada. In Canada, outlaw clubs operate with multiple chapters. The Red Devils Motorcycle Club, a support club for the Hells Angels, maintains chapters in nearly 20 countries and has been involved in disputes with rival clubs and law enforcement. Europe and beyond. Smaller but active clubs such as the Road Rats in the UK and the Gatekeepers MC in Canada show how widespread biker gangs have become, even outside the well-known US clubs. While not every chapter engages in visible crime all the time, the presence of international networks means these groups can coordinate and adapt globally. Why they still exist? Given intense law enforcement scrutiny, why do these gangs still persist? 1. Deep-rooted culture and brotherhood. These clubs are structured around loyalty, identity, and brotherhood, values that can make them resilient even under pressure. 2. Criminal enterprise adaptation. Law enforcement agencies fight these clubs with surveillance and racketeering statutes, but gangs adapt by using support clubs, shorter meetings, and tighter secrecy to avoid detection. 3. Ongoing demand for illegal markets. Activities like drug trafficking, firearms distribution, and other rackets continue to generate money, creating incentive to stay active despite arrests and prosecutions. 4. Fragmented nature of clubs. Unlike centralized cartels, outlaw biker gangs operate in loosely connected chapters, making it harder for authorities to dismantle an entire organization at once. Outlaw biker gangs are more than just a cultural curiosity. In 2026, they remain active in criminal enterprises and violent conflicts, continuing a decades-long presence on the fringes of society. Through federal indictments, law enforcement operations, and global police crackdowns, authorities are challenging these groups, but the clubs endure. For all the mythology spun in movies and TV, the real outlaw biker gangs are dangerous, complex organizations with real consequences for public safety. Comment your thoughts, subscribe, and stay tuned.